broken homes, broken marriages. The wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery.
They so thirsting
Come on.
for what we're talking about right now.
Simply put, I want to raise men who can restore the family.
What's up, world? It's your man, Cal Quigley IV. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Money Moves and Mindset. I got with me my brother from another mother, Coach DB in the house, y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
So check this out. We only met probably like 2 months ago. But the first conversation we had, we stayed on the phone for like, I don't know, like an hour. It's supposed to be a 15-minute conversation. Stayed on the phone for like an hour. And I was like, bro, you got to come, like, we got to come sit down and just, you know. So we scheduled like a 45-minute, hour meeting. I don't know, like 2.5, 3 hours later, we still in there talking. I'm like, bro. So, no, seriously, man, I really appreciate you being a part of what we're doing here.
Yes, sir.
And,
Yes, sir.
man, I really want you to kind of talk about your matriculation from just being like a regular dude in high school, not imagining what was waiting for you on the other side, and kind of some of that confidence and chutzpah that you put into yourself to make it to the NFL.
So starting out, man, I'm, just like most people, definitely a unique story there. Grew up in a dysfunctional household, to say the least. Dysfunctional household, man. I knew a lot of fussing, fighting, arguments, disagreements, going and coming, if I could put it that way. Not a whole lot of stability.
Yeah.
And so as a young man growing up, especially with, my father being present, in the household, parents still married at the time. But the man who you should be looking up to, the mother who braids your hair and, bandages your knee and to see the dysfunction, to fast forward a little bit to come back, it wasn't until I was older that I realized when you have two hurt people who have never been able to heal or even know about how to process, any mental, emotional scars that have come from how they grew up.
Right.
And now they get together and decide to have children.
That's called TNT.
And build a life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking back, I knew my parents, they did the best they could. But man, you only wish and hope that things could have or would have been different for their sake.
Right. Not for yours. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when people say that, it almost seems like their life would have been on a different trajectory if the parents would have been with it. And maybe you don't become as successful as you are now. Because I know you're a father now, and you hard on your boys.
Yes, sir.
Like I am on
sir.
mine.
Got to be.
And so, and talk about that, like, why are you that way?
Yes, sir. So it coincides with your first question. Grew up dysfunctional household. The oldest of three siblings, me, my sister who's the middle, only girl, and then my brother who's the baby boy. The light bulb came on for me at a very early age. Looking around at my environment, I knew what I didn't want.
Yeah.
I knew how I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
I knew what I didn't like. And so a lot of what I learned from my parents and in particular, my father growing up is how not to be.
Right.
But also carried this backpack, this spiritual backpack on me where I felt an obligation or responsibility to be the bridge or the trailblazer for my siblings. And likewise that just because you're the son to the parents doesn't mean that you can't be the agent of change in that household as well.
Yeah.
Just like sports became my identity for a long time, and I played very angry, played very upset, played with a lot of resentment, bitterness on the inside of me.
You were running back, right?
I was a running back.
So you were Earl Campbell's little cousin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can see it that way. I would compare my running style to Shard Choice.
Okay.
You know, when he was at Dallas.
Yeah, I remember Choice.
You know, I wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest, wasn't the strongest, but I prided myself. I worked very hard at being great at everything. I didn't want to be labeled as just a running back who could only catch but couldn't run in between the tackles, or you know, get put in just for screens and, you know, not trusted to catch a sweep and to go east and west, you know, not necessarily just north and south. And so I worked hard at those things, but just keeping it on track. Man, you learn, or I learned just growing up with parents who were dysfunctional, had their own problems. You start to realize and cultivate certain behaviors, a certain mentality, a certain mindset that now serves me well, because, man, God had to show me, like, hey, brother, you jacked up.
Yeah.
You jacked up. You got some issues. You got some problems that you don't necessarily attach it to when you're growing up. But as you get older, you mature, your eyes open a little bit more. And you
especially when you're trying to be in relationships with other
100%,
people. They normally can point it out to you better.
100%. And so, you know, I come from that background. Sports became my identity. Was you know, very athletic. You know, once I saw something, I did something one time, I had it. I'm a very kinesthetic type of learner.
Yeah.
Very, very audio visual, but I have to put hands on it. But once that connection for me is made, like, I got it.
Yeah.
So again, keeping it relative to the question one and question two, that took me into, you know, football, high school, coming out one of the top-ranked running backs in the state of Mississippi at the time. Gridiron excellent choice, all region, all district, all state. Only to fall to the junior college level because I didn't keep my grades up.
Come on now.
You know, and I'm keeping it within the circle.
Absolutely.
Within the two questions. I'm a smart individual.
I know that.
But I didn't apply myself with more discipline and intent with consistency because I could get away with just paying attention in class.
Right.
So I didn't develop certain behaviors or certain disciplines, studying, memorization that was needed, especially when you get on into college level where you really have to juggle being a student athlete. And my mom was always been on, hey, you're a student before you're an athlete,
Absolutely.
son. And I remember 7th grade, man, my mom, they took me out of football because my grades dropped. I cried for the whole season. I cried for
they kept you out the whole year.
They kept me from the whole. I missed
that's death to a
I
seventh
missed the
grader.
whole season, man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got my grades up that she allowed me to go back to football, man. It was a very hard time in my life. And even
that's a good mama, though.
Yeah, that's a great mama. Great mama. You know, because of what I went through, the good, the bad, the indifferent, it cultivated a certain mentality, a certain mindset in me. Looking back, I learned how not to be, but I also could see and recognize the good and the great that my parents did have in them and that they were trying to instill in me, which I'm appreciative of that now as an older man. I could see it. And so the reason why I'm hard on my boys now is, man, we have the unique opportunity and ability as parents, especially as husbands and fathers in our society today.
Yeah.
Especially those who look like us.
Right.
The world isn't going to, and this has nothing to do with skin color, nationality, race, creed, religion.
It really don't. It's about money nowadays.
Yeah.
So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So to keep it in frame, I'm hard on my boys because, simply put, I want to raise men who can restore the family. That's the vision God gave for me out of my situation in growing up in my household.
Yeah.
God was cultivating that vision in me. I was seeing what I wanted. I was seeing what I did not want. I was observing what I liked, what I didn't like. My parents, the good, the bad, the indifferent. Being an older sibling, being the outlier in my family, the anomaly in my family. I'm different from my brother and sister in many ways.
Yeah.
I see things, man. I'm very observant, slow to speak, quick to listen. Hadn't always been slow to get angry, though, you know.
Hey, we all are work in
Yeah,
progress.
yeah. But, man, God gave me a vision, you know, for my family because dysfunction on both sides of my family. Divorce rampant on my mom's side, my dad's side, and God raising me up as a young man, going through these different challenges, football career, having to go the JUCO route, you know, out of high school when I was committed to University of Alabama. You know, top 5 in the state of Mississippi coming out. You know, all these things, and then everything just like the bottom starts to fall out. You know, and so I know what adversity is like. I know adversity all too well. I know what it's like to have to overcome. I know what it's like to be looked over. I know what it's like to not be given equal opportunity because you don't pass the eye candy test.
Yeah.
You know, I played with a running back, I won't call no names, in JUCO, and man, this brother walked sprints. He would tell the coaches what he wouldn't and what he would and wasn't going to do.
Yeah.
And for me, I was already wrestling with my faith at that point because of that.
Because it's not making sense.
It's not making sense. Like, man, God, I'm trying to do everything right. I'm going to class. I'm hitting the books. Like my faith. I'm saying no to girls. I'm you know, all the distractions.
Right.
I'm trying my best to be tunnel vision, like single focus. But yet you play with guys, and this particular athlete that I'm talking about or referencing, man, just terrible attitude. Gifted, 6'2", 230. You know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
4'5" athlete. You know, me, 5'10", 205, roughly the same speed. But from a character standpoint,
2 totally different worlds.
From an integrity standpoint,
2 totally different people.
And I'm understanding why. Why is he getting a nod? And what is this teaching and communicating to the rest of these young men from a coaching standpoint that you hope to impact, inspire, influence in their lives?
Yeah.
That because you look a certain way, because you come from a certain family, because your last name is a certain last name, because you came out a certain rank, that you get the nod over an athlete that maybe from an eye candy test is not the same, but from a talent level, from an ability level, from a mindset level, from a character and integrity standpoint, he should get the nod all day long. What does this have to do with the 2 questions? Going through my challenges, going through those adversities, again, God's cultivating his vision, dysfunction, divorce rampant on both sides of my family. Me having gone through my own experiences, not just with my family, but with my career at this point. God started to open my eyes that it's much bigger than football. It's much bigger than school. There are dreams, aspirations, and gifts, talents, and abilities that we all have, which have to be cultivated, but often don't manifest until we've gone through some things. There's a price you have to pay.
Yeah.
We read in Scripture, everybody paid a price. All the great monarchs and patriarchs that we read about in Scripture, they all had to pay a price. They all had to go through some things. They all had that season of wilderness that they had to go through before they were prepared and ready and positioned for such a time as this.
Because if not, I mean, what can you really tell somebody?
Yes,
I tell my students a story the first day of every semester, and it's a story of me creating a business and that business ultimately failing and how that could have taken me out. And so that gives me so much credibility for the entire semester. One, because of the business that I created and I can prove it and all of those things. Yeah. That's $1 billion company right now. And so from then on, they like, man, whatever that dude say right there, we with him.
Yeah.
But if I just came in there and said, hey, I read the book, and, you know, it's been great, and, you know, I can teach you what the book says, they'd be like, okay, I'm going to be here, but I'm not going to learn nothing.
Yeah.
So, I feel you, brother.
Yes, sir.
You have to pay the price in order to be able to inspire and pour into other people.
That part. And so that's why I am with my sons, man. God gave me a vision. but men, we grow up like, oh man, you get married, like, oh, we all want sons. But the more important question is like, why? Why do you want what you want? Well, I didn't want boys because I just wanted boys. I wanted boys because God gave me a vision. I'm going to speak on that vision right now. I saw the dysfunction, disparity, the cause of our society. It's not because all the craziness going on, but the root causes of it, man, that our society is robbing and causing problems, or a reflection on the root cause being broken families, broken homes, broken marriages, because the institution of marriage, the institution of family has been at an all-time high attack.
Oh, yeah.
And not to speak anything against our female counterparts, they in them own selves possess a power that us men folks will not have, cannot do, will never be able to do. And I respect and hold my wife to a high level because of that reason. But as it pertains to men, I make the responsibility, I make the job of my wife being a woman, a wife and a mother, easier when I step into and operate fully in my role as a man. Now my wife, she doesn't have to worry about taking on responsibility on loads that I should carry. And more particularly, the things that you and your wife have discussed and agreed upon, like, hey, I'm gonna do this, you do that. This is what makes our marriage work. This is what makes our household function. This is what makes the Baylor Corporation function at home.
Right.
And so seeing that, I knew, okay, God, this is the problem. And we talk about business. We were talking about it earlier before we started. The best way to create something that's sustainable, to have a long-lasting impact, is to solve a problem that people have. What's the problem in our society? It's broken homes, broken marriages. Why are the homes and marriages broken? Because men are not being men.
Well, you got broken men.
Trying to be men.
Yeah.
And so the vision, I saw it early on, and because of what I went through and learning the impacts and the effects that my upbringing had, I didn't want to carry or continue to project that same trajectory. I didn't want to go down that same path. I didn't want to be another statistic. I didn't want to raise boys. I didn't want to be the type of father, husband that continues that generational curse, that same track record. And so God give me boys to raise up men to restore the family.
And you got all boys.
That's
amazing.
3 of them little cross snatchers. I got 3 of them little cross snatchers.
Now you're like, I take one girl.
Yeah, man. But that's why I'm hard on my boys.
Yeah.
Because it's the vision. Man, I've been given a unique responsibility. God answered my prayers. And I say he answered my prayers, but hey, he said in his word, he knew us before he formed us in our father. And he knew us before he formed us in our mother's womb.
Yeah.
Before the foundations of the world, we were already his crown jewel, the apple of his eye. But we've been created in his image. We've been given a purpose, gifts, talents, abilities. I think I asked the question when we first met, what's one of the wealthiest places in the world? Most people, their head rings, they come up with a million different questions. And if I could ask, or just for the people who watching it, give us something to think on every single day, the wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery, because it's full of untapped, unused potential.
Yep.
People take gifts, ideas, talents, abilities, never used, never implemented, for whatever reason, into the world. And that's why God created you. Nobody else can do what you do. Nobody else can do what I do. But we rob society, we rob the world, we rob our marriages, we rob our children, we rob our customers, our clients, we rob our teammates, we rob our family, our friends, we rob them of those gifts, talents, and abilities when we don't utilize them, when we don't live life on purpose, when we don't live life with great intent, and we take that to the grave.
Yeah.
And now the world
is less of.
Because because of. And that's why the cemetery is one of the wealthiest places in the world, in my
I
opinion.
love when you said that. It stuck with me. Let me ask you this. We've never talked about mental health before. I started doing counseling by myself, then I did couples counseling. Is that something that is important to you, or you
Absolutely.
had a chance
100%,
to? Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So working, with men all the time, I always tell them, like, bro, go get counseling, man. We all messed up. It don't matter if you black, white, Hispanic, Asian. If you were born in America, you got some stuff that need to be retooled. So go find somebody that can help you work through those things.
Extremely important.
So for you, having that background, what was counseling for you? Like, how did it take with you, if I will?
Well, because of that, I didn't know at the time, but in order for you to be a male and to speak in my life, you had to have some. You were gonna have to have a certain presence about you. You were gonna have to walk with a certain authority, or else I wouldn't recognize. Like, man, I don't like. I'm an alpha.
Right.
I'm type A, and because of that, man, you tend to only identify with somebody like-minded or who carries themselves in a certain way that immediately projects or opens up this doorway or pathway for you to be receptive of anything they have to say from the get-go, just from first reaction, your first interaction with them. And so because of that, man, I'm at West Alabama at this point playing, and, me and one of my buddies in college, we were FCA president, and I met my mentor, Jeremiah Castillo, who completely have transformed. I say God has used him to transform my life and poured into me into a way that I didn't know that I needed. I knew I wanted it, but had absolutely no idea of the impact that it would have. And the skeletons, the deficiencies, the inabilities, man, the problems that I had.
Yeah.
Especially as a young man. And thank God that he came into my life before marriage. So that I didn't carry this stuff over into my marriage. Because my wife didn't ask for my problems.
Yeah.
my boys, they didn't come here anticipating wanting the DB from 601 area code, like 205 area code, like. But that paints a picture, and that's a whole nother lesson.
Well, we'll have to bring you back for another episode.
But if that paints a picture, man, I didn't realize how dysfunctional I was. But it's when I met my mentor, and God used him to speak into my life, not only for me to see what right looks like. And he flawed, and he imperfect as well. But it was pertinent, man, vital, especially at that time and moment in my life, for me to see that from a mental health standpoint, from a spiritual health standpoint, from a physical health standpoint, somebody who embodied what I wanted.
Yeah.
From the moment I met him, he spoke a certain way, he carried himself a certain way. And so for me, I recognize, which is hard for a lot of men to do, that's a man that I can submit to. That's a man that I can sit up on and learn from, because I see the fruit in his life, not just the words that he's saying. Because, man, I can't follow a spineless guy.
Oh, no.
I can't follow a noodle back, spineless, jelly back men that we have in our society and culture. Like, man, get away from around me quick, fast, in a hurry.
It made me uncomfortable when you saying those words.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. And so
that's real talk. And
if that answers your question.
No, it does. And it perfectly segues into where I want to go, because what you're doing now with Alphatude is, yes, you're preparing their bodies to go into D1 and all of those kind of things beyond. But what I've seen, because I've personally know somebody that you've been working with for the last couple months, man, just the transformation of the mindset.
Come on.
So can you talk about kind of like how you were able to take Castillo, was that his last name? What was my man, your mentor?
Oh, Jeremiah Castillo.
Castillo, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So can you talk about how you were able to take what he did for you and transform that into Alphatude and what you do for young men?
First and foremost, it was this, Cal. being hands-on with me, man. You can't mentor somebody from abroad.
Yeah.
You can't mentor somebody through a screen or through a camera. Do we have tools at our disposal, our access now that allows our reach to be broadened? Absolutely. But let's not forget the main thing being the main thing. You know, one of the greatest examples we see, you know, in the Bible, and not to turn this into, you know,
oh, brother, I'm a deacon at the church now, so you all right.
look at the life of Jesus. He didn't lead the disciples from afar. He never went and came back and tried to teach them what he learned. They went with him.
Yeah.
It was hands-on. And so regardless of the technology, regardless of the tools, the advancements that we have and that evolve throughout life, hopefully we never forget the hands-on impact that it can have in the transformation of somebody's life.
Because energy is real.
Yes.
And when you're transferring that energy, mentoring somebody,
Come on, man.
yeah, it's just not about what you're saying. It's about the transferring of energy. But keep going.
Yes, sir. And so, man, he poured into me. He poured into me. I was just talking this about, I was having this conversation earlier yesterday with one of my counterparts and another young man that I met recently, hit it off, strong brother, you know, family is important to him as well. He's looking for that mentorship, you know. It made me grateful that I had it because I can see the difference, not just with him, but with other young men that I've met. The importance of having that guidance, that leadership with somebody who's not just doing a lot of lip service, but somebody who's been through some things, overcome some things, understands
and
how
are transparent about it. Yeah, that's a big piece. Yeah,
transparent about it. So he took me under his wing, man. I literally moved into his house when I was prepping for my pro day at Troy, Alabama, man. When I was prepping for my pro day.
That's big.
He took me under his wing, man. He invited me up to live with him. This was going into my right before going into my senior year at West Alabama. And, man, it completely revolutionized, transformed my life in such a way that, to your point, pertaining to the question, we would start conversation, say, at 1 p.m. Man, you look up, it's 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, and we still in the Word.
Yeah.
He's still pouring into me. And I ain't talking about kicking the can down the road kind of conversation. I'm talking about tough conversation of substance, depth, challenging, joy, happiness, all of that.
All of it.
Man, it was so vital and important for me to have that time. And, of course, it didn't end there. Did my pro day right before I signed my pro contract, what once used to be NFL Europe, where I played overseas professionally. Before I signed that contract, I stayed in Birmingham, Alabama, and continued training, preparation, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you prepare for something, then opportunity comes. You're not having to get ready.
Exactly.
But I'm already prepared. Even though things and doors had closed at that point with other professional opportunities, didn't work out how I thought it was. But I kept training. I kept working, which again instilled seeing that through Jeremiah, his example, and other men. You know, Brother Matt from West Alabama. Brother Jerry at West Alabama.
And you probably ain't seen these dudes in 20 years, right?
20 years, man.
So impactful that you're still talking about them today.
Impactful, man.
Yeah.
Coach Dale Pay from East Mississippi. Coach Kadar Eddings from East Mississippi. Man, men, I'm talking about men of different races, ethnic, cultural upbringings, but were impactful to my life because I didn't care about skin color.
Oh, no, that don't matter at all.
Man, and oftentimes we don't know what we need until we have it.
Yep.
And you don't know what you had until it's gone.
Now, I know that very well.
You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't want to miss opportunity. And however God was bringing it to me in my life, man, I ate it up. I ate it up. And these are men of character, men of integrity, where their marriages reflect how they live. It wasn't just lip service. their relationships within their family with their children, it reflected their character and that same integrity. You could see the love in their families. Much different from what I had grew up with. Not to say that my mom and dad didn't love us. They did the best they could based off of.
But it didn't look like that.
It didn't look like that.
Yeah.
But more than that, it was the power of the Word of God, man, being lived out in front of you and seeing that, because we grow up in, especially in the African-American community, man, a lot of it becomes tradition.
Right.
We go to church on Sunday. Why? Well, that's what mom did. That's what dad did. They making me go. It's Bible study on Wednesday night. It's, if you played any kind of instrument like I did, I played the drums, so it's choir practice, once or twice a week. Then it's revivals, 3-day, week-long, outside of school, and so a lot of things, tradition, we do things tradition, and a lot of times where we've not been careful to make that separation is tradition becomes more powerful than truth. And I promise this is all in line with that mental, emotional, spiritual
I see the
importance.
connection.
Because oftentimes you ask somebody, well, man, I'm a Christian, or whatever your religious belief is, let's just keep it relative. You believe in the Bible. You're a believer in God. You believe in Scripture. Until life hits. Until your marriage is on the rocks. Until opportunities seem to be passing you by, things that you've worked for. Doors seem to be closing.
Who do you become then? Yeah. What do you lean on to then?
We stand at the altar and say, what was the vow you and your wife said?
Oh, I think we made up our own. My wife, she.
At the same time, traditionally in our culture, do you take this woman? Do you take this man? To death do us part.
Right.
For rich or for poor. In sickness and in health.
We said that for sure.
For better or for worse. Well, when sickness happens, when worse is our reality.
When you broke.
Come on. Who are you then?
Yeah.
Because
it's real talk.
I'll be dog if I tell you I'm a man of God and my life don't reflect that. And now my character and my integrity is coming into question. Yeah. So you say why Alpha 2, you talk about the importance of mental health. All this is a combination, all this is a compound effect on the man that you see in front of you right now. The reason why I'm so hard on my boys, the reason why I'm intentional and purposeful in my marriage, I'm a leader before just trying to be my wife or my children's friend. I have a responsibility. I have an obligation.
Yep.
Right?
That's it.
Because oftentimes as men in our society, we see ourselves as the head. We the covering for the family. No, brother, you the concrete foundation. You the one who stepped on. You're the one who rugs are laid across. You're the ones who dirty shoes are trekked on in life. Yeah. You're the one who holds up the family, the one who holds up and supports the house.
That's a good way to look at it.
We got this thing flip-flop, man. Yeah. And so with that being said, from my teachings, my mentorship, man, you got to learn how to take some stuff in your marriage from your children.
You look like you got something fresh on your mind.
Because our situation recently, I won't speak on it just to keep things on track. Reminded, man, DB, you got to take some things, brother. Not every conversation you got to win. Right. Not every argument you got to win. Not in every circumstance or situation you have to be right. Right. Learn to take some stuff.
Yeah. And that's, man, I mean, it's so good, bro. Like, we literally can, just dive so deep on that by itself, man. I was in Atlanta recently, and, the young men there, they so thirsting for what we're talking about right now. And it's tons of black men in Atlanta, but, man, they on some other stuff out there, man. And so their focus is not on inspiring the next generation or even mentoring the next generation. It's about capping on the next generation and riding by them and being like, hey, you got to work harder or whatever. And I'm like, no, man, this cat asked me, he said, man, how many mentees you have? I said, I don't know, like 40, 45. He like, what? How you mentor 45 people? I said, I just make time. I got a calendar. So I make, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here. But one of the things I always do, Coach DB, is with my mentees, I'll say, do this, this, and this. You got a man standing right behind you right now that I met with a week ago, and I said, do this, this, and this, and you can be around me. He did this, this, and this. He right there right now. You know what I'm saying? So it is.
Yeah, man.
And so, man, I'm just saying to the brothers out there that have made it, to certain levels. And you don't necessarily be, wealthy or rich or anything like that to be a mentor. You just need to have done something and made it past level 1. You know what I'm saying?
You have to go through some things.
And when you do, you should always be reaching back to help a young brother get to the next level and reaching up and hoping the brother is there to help you get to the next level, man. Listen, I'm a transition our conversation a little bit because I want to hit on some of the NIL stuff because that's kind of what we're looking forward to working together. One of the partnerships that you and I are going to be doing in the future. So I want to bring it back to football just a little bit.
Sir.
I want you to talk about, and y'all wasn't getting paid back then, right?
No.
Okay. Well.
Maybe. It wasn't necessarily legal.
Okay.
Or most ethical.
Hey, the statute of limitations have bypassed, so you're good.
Yes, sir. But for all due purposes, no, we were not.
There you go. All right, we'll take that part out. But like, how did the people around you change, man? Because one of the things that I see with the young men that I'm working with, some of these cats making $70,000 a month. So you talked about the family, right?
Come on.
The dad was here before, the mom was here, the son was here, but now he makes $70,000 a month, so he done trumped everybody. And now the dad is in a different position, man. So can you just kind of like talk about that family dynamic, that success, not necessarily money, but also can bring?
Yes, sir. Well, for me, I think it's important for the upbringing. It's a reflection on the upbringing of that young man or young woman.
Okay.
The things, the values that mom and dad raise him or her in, so that if and when they do come into that type of money, that type of bag or that type of situation, they've been raised with a solid and on a solid foundation, rooted with ethics, on values, principles that keep them grounded, so that even in the case that they make more money than mom and dad do, one or the other, or both of them combined, there's still respect.
Yep. Mutual
respect. Mom and dad, in the eyes of that young man and young woman, are still seen to hold a certain authority position. There's a certain value that young man and young woman still has, and holds their parents to a certain esteem because of the upbringing, the values, the disciplines, the principles that they raise that young man or woman on, so that even if and when they come into money, mom and dad still mom and dad. They still hold that position. Ain't nothing changing. But when that hasn't been the case, and these athletes come into money, and it's not their fault.
Yeah, no, it's not.
They come into this money, we're undisciplined. We don't have ethics to fall back on. We don't have principles to fall back on. Well, I watched mom and dad get it out the mud. I've had to get it out the mud. And now I done got this bag thrown at me because of my athletic ability.
About to spend it all.
And it's more than anything that I've ever seen in my life.
That's the same.
Financial literacy being, man, what is that? Thank God it's talked about a lot more today, but still very underutilized, a topic that still does not get talked about enough in any of our cultures, in any of our communities, yet alone the African-American community.
Yeah.
We still living from the disdain and the effects of slavery, and most of us were far removed from that.
But it's in that DNA.
Come on, brother.
Yeah.
And so, again, now you're talking about an interesting word, the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
The DNA of the genetic makeup, not necessarily physical,
Mm-hmm.
but that spiritual, mental, emotional, compounding impact that is on that young man, the young woman's life when they come into that money because of how NIL has created a situation and circumstance, and it's changed, literally it's changed the games.
Changed the
of
game.
athletic and sports.
Yeah. I know a guy
that's the
still in
impact,
college.
man.
He like 28, man. He didn't extend it out because he like, I know I'm not going to go to the pros. So he just NIL contract out. And then they got a COVID year, and then they got to, man, I'm like, bro, you're almost 30. You got to go
Right.
get a job.
You gotta get a life, man.
You know?
You gotta go live life. You gotta go live life. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. But it's
like,
that fear, man.
Yeah.
It's that fear. Fear. Unknown.
The unknown.
Well, this situation keeps me comfortable. This
Yep.
situation keeps me winning. And I don't want to. You want me to go do what? The bag over here. Why would I change that? But yeah, young brother, you ain't growing up over here. Though. You're not being challenged over here.
Arrested development.
Come on.
Yeah.
Speak on it.
Yeah. I got a whole book that I'm writing on that. So
Come on.
But yeah, man, so what I'm seeing is like you said, when the guys come there, I'll tell you a quick story. One of the first young men that I was working with, sat down with him, went over, we going to create a budget. He's first of all like, I don't know what a budget is. Don't worry about it. I got you. We're going to create a budget. So I said, all right, you got 70 grand last month, right? Yeah, I got 70 grand last month. All right, cool. Let's look and see how much you got left over from the 70 grand. And he said, what do you mean? I said, okay, let's take this slow, because I don't want to pretend like, you know what I'm talking about. You got a check in your account for 70 grand. How much of that do you still have left over? He looked me dead in my eye and said, I thought I was supposed to spend all the money so it would make room for the next one coming next month. And, me, I'm a joyous guy. I laugh at everything, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of giggle, but he didn't change his facial expression. And I realized very quickly that this young man had no financial literacy. He said, bro, ain't nobody taught me nothing about no money. They just gave it to me and said, here. So the very same people that are giving these guys the NIL, they not teaching them nothing. So you know where that money ends up? Right back in the same pockets they gave it. And I'm saying to myself, that's why with the owner's blueprint, we're trying to do what we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And that's why, I love the idea of us being able to work together in the future to help these guys, man, because ultimately they're going to end up, you talked about stats and statistics and another story. The average lifespan of an NFL player is what?
Oh, 3 years.
3 years. So let's say everything works out perfectly. You graduate college, you go to college, go from college to the league. You 26, 27 by the time you retire. You still have a whole life ahead of you. And if you don't learn these things when you got this money, that's game-changing, generational, wealth-changing money, what you going to do when you working and making $30,000 a year?
You're going to blow it just like you did the 70, just like you did the 120, just like you did the million plus.
So if you got bad money habits, it don't matter if you got $100 or $100 million. You're going to burn through it.
Yes, sir.
And it's not going to last.
Yes, sir.
So, man, let me get off my high horse.
Yes,
all right. So for you, like, what are some things that you recommend to the young men that you're working with on that financial literacy tip? I know that's not necessarily your lane, but what do you tell them?
Get a mentor.
Get a mentor.
Quick, fast, and a hurry.
Okay.
Before you even get it being the bag, the opportunity, get a mentor. Find a mentor. Maybe you have that mentor in your life right now that for whatever reason, you know them when they come. Every time they look, when you're in their presence, they looking at you in your eye. You just feel like they staring down your soul. The one who constantly challenges you, the one who makes you uncomfortable when you're around them because you know you got some skeletons in the closet. And if you were to say what they are to them, they check you on it. That's the person that you need to be sitting up under so that you can learn how to handle life when it happens, because it's coming.
Yeah.
And it's coming like a freight train. And if you don't have mentorship, if you don't have somebody that has lived and can speak into your life from experiences, then you left still trying to get it out the mud, so to speak. And the only thing you're going to be left with is standing in the mud.
That's cold.
And all these opportunities, the money that has come, may still be in your future to come, is gone before you even get it because you got no discipline. You don't got the mental wherewithal. You got no principles, no ethics, no standards. And so you just living life based off of the mindset of wherever you still come from, your upbringing. You see the opportunity as life-changing. You know it can be life-changing, but then you're going to look up because you were undisciplined, because you had no guidance. And for a lot of us, especially as men, being humble enough, taking the position of humility to say, I have this, and in order for me not to blow it, I need somebody to help me.
Yeah.
And to be willing to ask, to admit that you need help, and be responsible enough to be receptive of the help when it comes, and not piss it away, not run that person off, not deflect.
Because it don't take long.
Come on, man.
Because they don't need you. They're there to help you.
Yes, sir.
But they don't need you.
Yes, sir.
And that's how a lot of young guys act.
Yes, sir.
You know, so listen, man. I don't want people just to know you as like some tough, mean coach, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a couple of rapid fire questions,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Because I want people to see the other side of you, man.
Come on with it.
All right. So name your top 3 all-time running backs. Top 3.
Top 3 all-time running backs.
And you got to have at least one Cowboy in there. So no, I'm just
Okay.
just playing.
Well, Emmitt Smith was impactful for me, man.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith, Brian Westbrook.
Oh, from the Redskins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played for the Redskins.
Yeah.
Played for
Giants or the
for
Eagles. He
Eagles.
was in the NFC
Eagles.
East like
He
his
played
whole
for the
career. I
Eagles.
remember Westbrook.
Brian Westbrook.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's our man that played at St. Louis?
Who?
Played with Kurt Warner.
Say his first initial. I know his name. Why can I see this dude face and can't call his
Hall
name?
of Fame running back,
I know
too.
who he
Yes,
is.
sir.
He played with Peyton Manning with the
Yes,
Colts.
sir.
I just can't
Yes,
think of his
sir.
name.
Yes, sir.
Say his first initial. I get it. Oh, because you forgot. That's
Look, you done made my mind go blank now.
I'm tripping, man. You know the craziest thing? I'm in business with that dude.
Really?
Yes.
Marshall Falk.
Marshall Falk.
Oh my God.
Dude, me and Marshall Falk are in the financial services business together, man. I
Come
see
on,
him
man.
every year in July.
Yeah.
So my bad, Marshall.
No.
I
Hey,
know
all
who you
due
are.
respect, Marshall.
Yeah.
Man, Marshall Falk.
Marshall Falk.
Brian
Marshall
Westbrook, man.
Take Emmett out, but like who else? You don't have to use a Cowboy.
Warwick Dunn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good dude
sir.
too. Good dude.
That right there.
Yeah.
Again, early at an early age, man, I started to see these with men of character.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they were great on the field, but they also had impact, influence in the
That's
right
very
way.
true.
They stayed out the news because they had the right stuff.
And just won.
They were men of character and integrity, man, and they could play the game.
Yeah.
One who often forgot about, man, but I actually read his book too, man, is Sean Alexander.
Sean played with the
Played at Alabama,
Seattle
played with Seattle
Seahawks.
as well, man.
Yeah.
Had a pretty good career.
Again, a solid dude.
Solid dude. Exactly.
Recently, he has an award that he gives away every year. You know
Yes,
about
sir.
this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Man,
Yes,
we might
sir.
need to do something like that for
Yes,
you here
sir.
in Texas, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I like
Yes,
that.
sir.
That's a great list, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Stocks, real estate, or crypto? If you had to pick one to invest in, which way?
Real estate.
Real estate. Why?
Because it never loses value.
Mm-hmm. And if it does, it always spring back very, very
Bingo.
quickly.
Bingo.
What was your splurge? What was your splurge item when you were making bank? You shoe guy, you car guy, you what was your thing?
To straight up be honest with you, man, I didn't have a splurge.
Okay.
I didn't have a splurge.
Good for you.
I didn't have a splurge, man. With me, it was always like this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh man, I finally have the money to have that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because of my upbringing that I acted with the opposite of what most people do when they come into money.
Yeah.
Is I didn't become a tightwad, but I knew I didn't want to squander it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because I'm already thinking like, I've seen what people in my family do when they come into money, and because of being undisciplined, not having the
framework,
not having the mindset, not having the discipline, not having the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of how to turn that money into anything close to generational wealth. As soon as they get it, it's out the window. And so I always looked at money like, man, how can I invest? What can I do regarding business to create something sustainable? Now, I would splurge, and for the most part, man, it'd be, you know, as a single man, you know, man, I'd go out to eat, you know, or maybe it was a tool, a piece of equipment, or something I would buy so that I could add that into my personal regimen. But I was always looking at it
as an investment.
And what am I going to get from this?
Right.
Is this something that's going to be long-lasting impact in my life, or is it going to be like a pair of shoes?
Yeah.
You know, 6 months from now.
I feel judged right now.
That's 200. You know, no, man. Like you work hard for something. You got every right to spend that money on. But man, just be careful and be conscious of what you're doing with that money, and make sure that if you're going to use whatever amount that is on whatever particular item you decide that it's on, make sure it's justified and it's not just off of impulse, just because you got a bag now.
Yeah.
And now you look up and you can't even explain the $70K.
Where all the money then gone. Yeah.
That you was in your bank account, like where it's gone. And you can't even list the thing that you even splurged on because it hit your bank account and it was gone so fast.
So I worked for an NFL player for about 2.5 years. He got a $40 million contract from the Denver Broncos. In 5 years, we couldn't pinpoint anything but one house that he spent the money on.
Wow.
Bro, yeah. I hadn't thought about that in years until you just said what you said. That's wild, man. But listen, man, I want to thank you, bro. Yeah, we definitely got to do this again because there's so much stuff that I had on my list of things to ask you about. But I appreciate you being here and laying down the wax, man. So tell the folks where they can find you, what you got going on, and we'll close it out.
All right, man. So Coach DB, formerly known on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, DB_FitPro. Again, DB_FitPro, Alpha2 ALPHATUDE _official_fitness. There's an apparel and a fitness content platform, as well as my personal that both drive and receive from both of those. It's an ecosystem, building an ecosystem. That's where I'm at right now, where, you know, you can put on a trusted apparel, athleisure material, clothing, supplements, as well as sports performance, athletic or human performance training built off of mindset first. You train the mind first and the body second. And it's a brand built on integrity and character, where it's not just impacting what you put on your body, not just impacting what you put into your body, but also the cultivation of the mind, because that's where our true power lies. And so it's a brand, you know. That's what I'm up to now. You can find me on those social medias. Tap in, man. We right at the beginning phases. I'm excited about this opportunity to work with my brother Cal here and everything he got going on, man. And I know this is only the beginning.
Absolutely.
So yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
You heard him here first, Coach DB. Think and grow rich. We'll see you on the next one.